Page 16, Raggedy Waltz. Page 16, it sort of looks like ragtime music. And on page 17, it looks like a waltz. Should be interesting. So I look it over, I see it's about 2 pages long. It's longer than 2 pages, but there's about 2 pages of music to learn. That's fine. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. There's 1 sharp in the key signature, so we're either in the key of G major or E minor. If you look at the end, the bottom of page 17, we're here, there. It's a G major chord. I'm guessing we're in G major, but do the scales and arpeggios for both G major and E minor, at least 1 octave up and down. At the bottom of page 16, at the end of the last line, you'll see the double bars, and then they have natural signs. That's their indication that they're taking the sharps away in the key signature. We're changing key signatures in the middle of the piece. So page 17 on the waltz, that's like in C major. There, up there. So we're doing this, all white keys here, except for the accidentals. And then when you get down to the next to the last line on page 17, at the end, where the DC coda is, you see the double bars, and you see the sharp signs. Well, now they're giving the sharp signs back, because when you go back to the beginning, we're in G major again. As far as doing the scales and arpeggios, I'm just going to do them for what it says at the beginning, because it can go in all kinds of keys, whatever in the middle. So I'm just doing whatever the key signature is at the beginning, that's what I do. You can do it however you want. Do you want to do C major and A minor stuff too? You go right ahead. And 3/4 time. Well, it's a waltz. It makes sense. It's 3/4 time. Take it one hand at a time. Make sure I understand what the hands are doing. The right hand, the notes are here, but it has an 8V above it. So now we're going up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And measure 5, you're staying up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And you get that rhythm is all over the place on page 16. But when you get to page 17, now the AVA went away. See the local, LOCO? You don't need it. The AVA went away. You're down here where it's written. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just a plain old waltz. Here we go. 2, 3. Now go down toward it's next to the last line on page 17, the last measure. The notes are an A and a D sharp, but it has the AVA above it. So now, during the rest, you got 1 measure rest come up here. Just so you're ready. Left hand, quarter notes. Keep in mind those C sharps in the second measure are only good for that measure. In the next measure, it's a C natural. That 8VA above the top staff only applies to that staff. It's not both hands, it's just this staff. If I wanted both hands, they'd put in a note both hands, or they'd put the 8VA above both staffs. Either way works. That's basically all the left hand's doing. Then we put them together, and I'd probably hesitate, I don't care right now, it's just... So they're playing at different times here. 1 and 2 and 3. Page 17, you're down here, right? Just quarter notes and half notes out here. Now go down to the 4th line. It's measure 29. You're here. And during this part, this is where I get the right hand up. The left hand doesn't move. It's just the right hand. And if you're not sure about that chord, because it sounds weird, then spell out the chord, is what we call it. You simply take it 1 note at a time and check them. Start at the bottom. You have an A, a C, a D, and an F sharp. That's spelling out the chord. And it still sounds like a mess, but that's what it is. Okay. So once I've got the hands together, I go back through it slowly and carefully, and I get rid of the hesitations. Once I can do that, then I'll think about the articulation. We have accents and staccatos. Here, basically it's an chuck chuck thing. So now that's basically all it is for staccato. Now when you get to page 17, this is all connected. But this, you still got the chuck chuck. There, the last measure is measure 20. There's nothing in the left hand to tell you anything. Go ahead and pretend it's slurred. It may be an error. In measure 22, they slurred it. And I see no reason for it not to be slurred in measure 20. So go ahead and connect those. And I would connect it there on the left hand from measure 20 to 21. Connect, it leads into it, so connect it. You're lifting up in the right hand for the phrase here, but not here. And each of these, I'm connecting this left hand to the next measure. I don't want to lift both hands. I don't want total silence, so I'm connecting the left. I'm lifting the left, right hand now. So forth. So it turns out on page 17, for the most part, at least for the first 4 lines, I'm connecting the left hand all the way through except for the staccatos and the rests. Now once I can do that, then I think about the dynamics. Remember, the dynamic applies to the melody wherever it is. Here the melody's in the right hand. So mezzo forte at the beginning is moderately loud. That makes the accent note a loud note. Just a little more weight is all this. Sort of down in the soft side. Now measure 5, now you're soft. That makes the accent note a moderately soft. It just takes it up a little. The left hand's going to be very soft. And measure 7, you're going bottom. Go up to about a moderately loud is fine. Now you're moderately loud, measure 9. So forth, and then soft to measure 13. You can do the dynamics. On page 17. At the end of the next to the last line with that wonderful chord that has a fermatas on them, so you can hang on to that longer and listen to enjoy it even longer. Isn't that nice? If I do it with a metronome, I'll hold it for 6 counts instead of 3. I just double it because I got to stay with the metronome. When you're playing it, you just hold it out for what feels right or until you can't stand that noise anymore, and then you go on. And the going on is, you see the DC all coded there. DC, remember, means go back to the beginning. So and you're already up here, and when you go back to the beginning, you're here anyway. So the right hand's right where it needs to be. The left hand doesn't. Well, the left hand is here. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So actually, when you do the DC, both hands are right where they need to be. You don't need to move. And then at the bottom of page 16, above the last, at the end there, you see the circle with the crosshairs. That's the sign where you jump to the coda. So when you finish the last line on page 16, you go straight across to the coda on the last line on page 17 and finish it off. Now for the speed, medium slow. Well, the metronome markings they're giving is not medium slow. It's sort of the feel of it. 1, 2, 3, 1. That's about in there. Just for a waltz, it's going to feel kind of slow, but that beat is not slow. Please don't copy me. There's other ways you could play it. Remember, there's a retardando at the end. You just slow down a little bit. How much you slow down, that's you feel it. How much you feel it should slow down there is all. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any louds and softs. I'll try and do the accents, although I usually leave them out. We're going to do the DCL code and all. We're just checking notes and rhythms. We're not performing it. I will do the staccatos though, just not louds and softs. I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, and go, and. Rest, 2, 3, hold 2 to the beginning. To the coda. 2, 3.